Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's a beautiful Monday morning. I won't lie to you, ladies and gentlemen, students of mine that I have never met, but I am eagerly waiting to see how we finish the school year. I am extremely tired today. Super tired. I think I slept wrong. My neck hurts. All this junk. So I'm going to go through this fairly quickly because I'm exhausted. I did not sleep good at all last night. But, of course, we're going to go through this. 3 rules. Next time, I'm going to post a video with directions because y'all need to take an assessment. That is mandatory. If you do not take it, you will get in a lot of trouble. I will send you your username and passwords individually so you all can take that. It's like a practice star test, okay? So it's very important that you take that. If you don't take it, you will get into a lot of trouble. I promise you that. But let's go ahead and let's go with this. Laws of exponents, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see right here, I took a snapshot of your STAR test reference chart that you're going to be getting. There's these 3 rules. There's plenty more rules, but these are the ones that we're focusing on today because today is part 1. Product of powers, as you can see right here, we're adding, but there are some specific rules that you see that we'll talk about right now. But if you want to go ahead and write the rules right here, you're going to be multiplying coefficients. Terrible handwriting, I'm sorry for that. Multiply coefficients, and we're adding exponents. Terrible handwriting, I'm sorry. Quotient of powers, we're going to divide or reduce. Oh man, I'm writing terribly. That's how you know I'm super tired today. Or reduce the coefficients, and then we're going to subtract the exponents. And I have the breakdowns for each rule before each thing, so don't. If you don't want to write this, that's okay. It's going to be further down the line anyways. Power of power, this is going to be power of the coefficients. And then right here, we're going to multiply the exponents. Power of, you'll see what I mean right now. It's basically like if you're doing 3 squared, you know it's 3 times 3 and so on. So you know, or like 3 to the power of 5 is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay? But we'll talk about that right now. Okay. Breakdowns of each rule, I just told you right there. Product of powers, we're going to be multiplying the coefficients, adding the exponents. First example is right there. You know what? Let me zoom in a little bit. Zoom. 2 little examples, and then we have a star level question. So, what is a coefficient? My coefficients are 2 and 5. What is that telling me to do? We're going to be multiplying those 2 numbers. Let me get a different color. And then for adding exponents, we're doing those little numbers that are on the top portion of our base. I want to get into extreme detail, but that's better if we're in person in class. Yes, I understand that online learning is a little bit difficult being at home, so let's just get right to the point. What do I do with the 2 highlighted coefficients? We will multiply them. Somebody hook it up. What's 2 times 5? That's a 10. My base, which is the variable that is consistent with both parties, is n. And then lastly, we do the addition of exponents. We got 2 plus 7, which is 9. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. All we're doing is adding exponents, multiplying coefficients. I do want to mention the only reason why we do that is because if we break down these exponents of n, that means I have 2 n's, then I have 7 n's. I put them all together, that's 9 n's. And then because there's a little multiplication sign, we're multiplying the coefficients because that's a regular arithmetic that we've learned since elementary school. All right, check mark. Let's go to the next one. Oh, this is a wonderful example. I love it. Negative 3x times 6x to the fourth, y to the third. You might be wondering what the French toast is going on. Well, we're missing an exponent. We're missing a y over here, so let's figure it out. Firstly, there's an x right there. I can put something right there on the top of that x. What do you think I should put? It exists. It's not 0, so what should I put? It's an imaginary 1. Next, I do want to be multiplying the coefficients. The coefficients are these numbers that are in front of my variables, not the little numbers. Remember, those little numbers are my exponents. So, highlighter, who are my coefficients? You should be able to see. I know a lot of us are just going to say it's the big number, but don't just say, okay, it's the big number. Make sure you know that it's the number that's in front of the variable, which we call the coefficient. Boom, boom. So negative 3 and 6. Next, I do need to add the correct exponents. How do I know which exponents to add correctly? I said it must be the same base. It cannot be different bases. So, obviously, I know x to the 1 is going to be added to either 4 or 3. Now, how do I know who to add them? We go by the same variable. Who is the similar thing to x1? We got x to the 4th. So I'm going to highlight those. Boom, boom. And we're adding those numbers. And then what do I do with this y to 3? It has no partners. We don't worry about it 1 second. We just bring it down. So let's do it. What do I do with the coefficients again? You're not sure. Go back to the top of the breakdown. It says to multiply. Negative 3 times 6. Negative 18. What do I do with the exponents of 1 and 4? Go back to the top. There's a breakdown. It says add exponents. 1 plus 4 is 5. I don't like the way that 5 looks. Sorry. And then lastly, the y3 does not have any partners, so I bring the y to the power of 3. Boom. And that's it. Check mark. Why is it important to know the rules? Because when we go to the next two, eventually we're going to put them all together, and you'll see the very last example, and you need to be able to dictate what exactly you're working with, okay? Real quick star level example. The expression of x to the 4th times x to the negative 15 is equivalent to x to the n. What is the value of n? This sounds like a whole mumbo jumbo. So I'm going to write this down. X to the 4th times x to the negative 15. Equivalent means equals x to the n. And they want to know what n is. Okay, so since this is the product rule, and they want us to play with the 4 and the negative 15, am I going to be adding them or subtracting them? Ask yourself real quick. Is that a coefficient or is that an exponent? A lot of things to remember. So, remember, coefficients are the larger number, the ones that are in front of the variable. Right here we got the numbers in the top portion, which makes them a little bit smaller, so those are my exponents. Make sure you read what it says up there. What does it say to do with the exponents? It tells me to add them. So, if I add 4 plus negative 15, do that real quick in your calculator. 4 plus negative 15 gives me negative 9. Right? I'm sorry. Negative 11. My bad. Sorry. Equals to x to the n. So what does that tell me? What is my n value? Negative 11. Boom. And that's it. So you would just say, you know what? I know n equals Negative 11, because I solved for that answer. Very tedious, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're paying attention to the specific things that you're adding and multiplying. Okay, next one. Quotient of powers. We're going to divide or reduce the coefficients, and then we will subtract the exponents. Divide or reduce. Reducing is the biggest thing, which you'll see in the second example, but let's do the first one. Let me zoom in. Sorry, forgot. All right, here we go. Let's do a highlighter for coefficients. Who are my coefficients? Should be the larger numbers, which is 9 and 3. What are we going to do with those numbers? We're either going to divide or reduce. Other highlighter. My exponents is what we'll be subtracting. 8 and 2. And we'll be subtracting that. As you can see, I'm highlighting specifically to what we should be doing, okay? All right, let's do that. First, we're going to divide the coefficients. What's 9 divided by 3? 9 divided by 3 equals 3. So that's my coefficient. I keep the base of f. What do I do with the exponents? We're subtracting, so 8 minus 2 equals 8 fingers take away 2. That gives me 6. Exponent 6. Boom. Check mark. Very, very straightforward, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, just follow the quick steps and you'll be good to go. Pause it if you need to relook at it. I want to move on. Whoa. Here we go. Remember, highlighting specifically so I know who I'm dividing and subtracting. 12-minute video. Let's go a little faster. Here we go. We have a little bit of more variables. Don't worry 1 second. First, it's 4 and 16. Right here, does Q have another Q in there? No, so we're going to bring that one down when we're done with it. And we mess with the 7 and the 4 for the W's. Let's take care of the 4 divided by 16. I cannot divide this. 4 is a lot smaller than 16, so right here we do need to reduce. So start up. This is the reducing part that I was talking about. Reduce. What do I reduce by? You can either put it in your calculator, it should give you the reduced form, or just find a commonality. What do these two numbers have in common? I can divide both of them by 4. 4 divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. 16 divided by 4 gives me 4. Oops, sorry. So I'm going to use this right now. You know, we could already put it. You'll see why I did a little bit bigger. Next, I'm going to do the exponents. What are we doing with the 7 and the 4? Make sure you subtract. 7 minus 4. 7 fingers minus 4 of them gives me 3. That's going to be W to the 3. But where do I put the W3? Should I put it on the top or the bottom? Next time, which is probably on Friday, I'm going to go into detail with what you need to do with negative exponents. But for today, if it's positive, everything always goes on top. I'm going to put W3. And because Q5 didn't have a partner, put Q to the 5. And that's it. This one's a little bit trickier because you just need to remember to put everything on top and make sure you reduce. I recommend just putting this in a calculator and it should give you the reduced form. Remember, guys, you have internet. You guys have Google. Do anything you need to do to make sure that you can reduce this correctly. All right, almost done. Positive you need to. Star level. The expression 5a to the 10th power is equivalent to an. What is the value of n? So we're looking for n again. I'm going to rewrite this good stuff. 5a to the 10 over a to the negative 5. We need to divide the coefficients, but guess what? I only have a 5 right here. What should I put right here for a number if it's not there? Well, the bottom part does exist, so if it exists, it's not 0, it's an imaginary 1. That's pretty straightforward. What's 5 divided by 1? Should be able to get 5, so I know that's my first part. 5, the base is a. What do I do with the exponents? It's a negative 5, be careful. We subtract them because we talked about it up here. Let's subtract them real quick. 10 minus negative 5. Don't forget it's a negative 5. 10 minus negative 5, it gives me 15. Please use your calculator. There it is. Sorry, I forgot to set it equal to an. So, who's my n? Is it 5 or 15? Well, as you can see, the n is an exponent, which is that little up above on top of your base. So I need to make sure that correlates to my exponent of my answer. So I know my answer is n equals 15. This is a great question because I bet you 9 out of 10 times a lot of the kiddos end up putting 5. So just be careful with that. Awesome. Almost done. Almost done. One more section, then we got one problem, and then I'll go. Oh my God. So this is going to be a long video. Here we go. Power to the power. So we're going to raise the coefficient to the power of, and then we'll multiply the exponents. What does that mean? Again, coefficients in that color. So what's my coefficient? 5. Multiply the exponents. So that's telling me 7 and 8. I'm going to underline the 8 because we need to keep that 8 for the 5. Check it out. I'm going to split this up. Boom. Boom. 2 parts because I have a coefficient and a variable. Put it in parentheses. 5 goes in the first one. X to the 7 goes in the second one. And this 8, I underline it because it still goes with both of them. Because all I did was break up these kiddos. So these kids were married, and I said, you know what? Let's split you up. But you all both get a piece of ice cream, I guess. Piece of pizza. Next. Right here, I will use a calculator. This is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, 8 times. So make sure you know that 5 to the power of 8 is just 8 5s in a row, and you're multiplying them. We could go hardcore, that's cool. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, 5 times 5. You can put that in the calculator. I do not know what that is, to be honest. 25, 125, 625. Nope, it's a big number. Calculator, calculator, calculator. Oh no! Mr. Ramirez did not think this one through. I don't have a calculator on me. Shoots. To be honest, I don't know. Okay, I gotta do it on the board real quick. If you got there ahead of me, don't you worry. 1 second. I got you. Man, it's gonna be a huge number. I totally messed up. I should have chosen something a lot smaller. 25, 125, 625. I did not think this one through, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to rewind to when I'm done, that's completely fine. Let me figure this out. Oh my God. Um, last one. Here we go. Almost done. Almost done. All right. Let's see how I did. Hopefully I got it right. If not, oh well. You guys should just put this in the calculator, and hopefully you get 390,625. That's my coefficient. And then you multiply these guys. That's an easier number. 7 times 8 should be 56. Keep your base. 56. That was hilarious. I'm gonna double check that right now, but 390,625. All right, let's do that real quick. Let's check it out. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 5. Yeah, I'm going on the right track. Times 5 times 5. Yeah, I was right. 309,625. Cool. Awesome. Next example. We can have oof, we can have fractions as exponents, but don't be afraid. Just do the same thing. So we're gonna break this up. There's 3 parts right here. I have the coefficient and 2 variables. So I'm gonna break it up into 3 parts. Boom, boom. First parentheses is 144. Second parentheses, oops, is k to the power of 2. Third parentheses is r to the 14th. And then I'm going to share that 1/2 power for each one. Boom, boom, boom. After that, this you do need to put in the calculator or go to Google, put 144 to the power of half. You should get 12. What do I do with these exponents? It's up above. 2 times half. You should get k to the power of 1. Next one, 14 times half. What's 14 times half? R to the 7th. Rewrite my answer real nice and neat. 12. I don't need to put the 1 because we should know that's an imaginary 1. And then R to the 7th. Boom. Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton. I love it. I love it. I love it. Almost done, ladies and gentlemen. This is a long video. I apologize. Real quick, I'll give you the answer just so we could move on ahead. Remember, you're using the power rule, so break these up. 1, 2, 3. Boom, it's 6 to the power of 2. And then we got x 9 to the power of 2. And then y 5 to the power of 2. Put this in the calculator, multiply, multiply, and then tell me what the n and the m is. Pretty easy. I think. Hopefully you all got it. If you don't, then tutorials right now at 10 o'clock in about 30 minutes. And the last one. This is the mother of them all. This is the difficult point. Putting all 3 laws together, ladies and gentlemen. Putting everything together. I put dot 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 right here because you can start this any way you want basically, but my my thing to go with, start with the parentheses. Get rid of the parentheses, and then you could do all your laws in whatever order. So we want to get rid of those parentheses, and then we could do the quotient rule, or we could do the product rule across, whatever makes you happy. But it is very important to at least start with the parentheses. I'm going to do it the way I like. I'm going to do parentheses, then I'm going to get rid of the fractions, and then I'm going to do the product rule at the end. Check it out. All right, so I'm going to get rid of these parentheses. Now, what's a little interesting about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that 4 is not in the parentheses. So what does that mean? I do not have to break up the 4 and the Q6 because it's already broken up. Okay? That 2 does not belong with the 4, so I don't worry about it there. But let's get rid of the parentheses. What do I do when I see 2 exponents on top of each other like that? That is the power rule. Make sure you know that that means I need to multiply. So I'm going to write the whole thing real quick. 10, let me write it nice and neat. 10 Q 5 W7 over 2 W3 times 4 stays there. Remember, we're multiplying the 6 and the 2. 6 times 2 is 12, so that's Q to the 12, and then W negative 5. All right. Now, like I said, you have the direction of what you want to do in this case. You can either start multiplying across, or I'm going to get rid of the fractions, and then you'll see in the discussion what's up. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get rid of this fraction first. 10 divided by 2. Why am I dividing these two? It's part of the quotient rule. That tells me I know that these coefficients need to be divided. 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. Then over here, I check it out. Okay, which exponents do I subtract? Because in quotient rule, you're supposed to be subtracting the exponents. W is the same. I leave Q alone. I think this was an example, no? Go up top. Remember, the quotient rule says to subtract. What's 7 minus 3? Oops. W 7 minus 3 is 4. Q to the 5 stays there because we're only playing with this one. I come over here. This is the tricky part, ladies and gentlemen. 4 divided by imaginary 1 is 4. But because these variables are not the same, I leave this whole fraction just the way it is. And that's where the complicated part is. So I step back, I say, you know what? This just got intense. But let's keep going. Okay, here we go. I actually don't like it, so let's go backwards. Redo. See, so it's a lot of trial by error, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of trial by error. So I'm going to redo all this. Boom, 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 boom. It's going to be pretty intense, pretty intense. So let's multiply across, because obviously we want to get these W's and make them nice. So let's multiply across. Covering the bottom. Remember, I got coefficients first. 10 times 4. 10 times 4 is 40. And then I worry about the exponents. Exponents right here. It's Q's. What do I do when I'm going across like this? That's the product rule. Since we multiplied the 10 and the 4, that means I need to add the 5 and the 7. Man, it's a lot of stuff right here, ladies and gentlemen. I understand 100%. 5 plus 12 is 17. Next, I'm going to bring that W7 over because we don't have a partner upstairs in the numerator. Next, we take care of the bottom. Remember, this was an imaginary 1. We do the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. 2 times 1. 2 times 1 does give me a 2. Oops. Yeah, you see, it's a lot of trial and error. Right now, it's going to be beautiful, I promise. And then what do I do? With this 3 and this -5, I do need to add them, right? Because we're going across. So that gives me a -2. So it's W. Keep forgetting to do that. I'm sorry. W -2. So make sure you know we multiply. 2 times 1 gives me 2. Adding the exponents, 3 plus -5, -2. And now I get to finish this off. All right. Yeah, let's finish it off. Now it becomes a quotient rule. Quotient rule says divide or reduce the coefficients, subtract the exponents. So right here, remember, we're going to divide. Here we can. Number at top is greater than 2, and we can basically see what's 40 divided by 2. 20. Next, does Q17 have a partner? It does not, so I'm just going to bring it down because it doesn't even have a partner. Q17. And lastly, our W's. What do I do with those exponents if it's a quotient rule? Well, since we divided here, we need to subtract these two right there. 7 minus -9. Calculator. 7 minus -9. I'll write it out. 7 minus negative. Oh, I was saying the answer out loud. 7 minus -2. That gives me a positive 9. And there you go. All right. That was a lot of work for this problem. But no worries. It's a lot of trial and error. I promise. Let's look at the quiz. Remember, there's tutorials in about 20 minutes. We go to the quiz. I'm going to give you a heads up on what to do. Remember, it's 4 questions. Laws of exponents. Boom. Preview. Boom. And there we go. So right here, I'm going to help you out. We are doing the quotient rule here. Quotient. 2 things you need to do. Divide or reduce coefficients. And then subtract exponents. Helping you out with the rules to tell you which one is here. Make sure you get the one in the question. Bum, bum, bum. You should be all right. Next one. Power rule. There is no coefficient here, so this is a pretty interesting problem. Make sure you break up the x and the y. So all you got to do right here is multiply exponents. Very interesting problem because right here, as you can see, the x doesn't have an exponent. We talked about that in the video. All right, next one. First, you do the power rule. So this is the compounded one. Power rule is multiply exponents. I'm going to abbreviate. And then the second thing is the product. You're going to add exponents. Let's see how many people get this right. Can't wait to see how many hundreds we get. Multiply and then add. All right. Last one. This one's another quotient. I can't tell you how to set it up because you need to be able to read, but quotient power. means you divide or reduce. Divide or reduce coefficients. And then you subtract exponents. All right, done. That was the longest video I've ever done in my life. But anyways, if you watched the whole video, I'm very happy for you. Thank you for going with me through this whole experience. I know you are an all-star if you're watching this whole video. If you're not watching this video, they're probably not even watching this. I can't really say much. But you will repeat ninth grade. I'll let you know, hey, my all-stars that are doing such a great job, if you do me a big favor and just hit up those people that are not doing their work, they are going to see me again next year, so it's double the trouble. Anyways, y'all have a terrific day. Like I said, I'm going to send you out another video with some passwords and all that stuff for Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a practice start test. If you have any questions, tutorials is in about 20 minutes, so let me know. Get onto the Google Meets, put in A9AL lesson, and I'll be right there. Y'all have a terrific day.